Hi everybody. We are going to work on a drawing together today, and you can just use your sketchbook if you have your sketchbook at home or a sketchbook at home, or you can just use a loose piece of paper. And I'm going to use a Sharpie just so you can see me better, but feel free to use a pencil with an eraser so you can sketch lightly and make changes as we go. So we're going to create a scene together, and then as we're going through the scene, I'm just going to touch on some things that we've gone over the course of the year so far, because when we get back after break, we're going to be talking a lot more about technique, our drawing technique, and shading, and all kinds of different skills that are going to help us with our drawing and with different mediums too. So I want to do a little review of what we've talked about while we go through this picture together. Make sure that we have all these down. All right, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put in my horizon line here. All right, and I'm going to go ahead, actually it's going to be easier for me to draw this way, so I'm going to do mine portrait style here. So I'm going to add my horizon line, and I'm going to go ahead and throw in a vanishing point. So vanishing point is going to go on your horizon line, which is right at eye level. And that's going to show us our perspective. So whenever we create our picture, we're going to be thinking about our vanishing point, and we'll talk about that as we go too. Okay, so vanishing point is going to be here. We've done this before with the road. We're going to, since this is a winter scene, we're going to give ourselves just a little path through the snow, but we're going to keep in mind our vanishing point. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and give myself 2 lines at the bottom. And that's going to be the widest point of my pathway. So that's where I'm walking into the picture basically. All right, and I'm going to have it curve a little bit. So I'm here, maybe I'll just have it wind around and come back over there, right? So that was one side. Let me go ahead and get the other side. It doesn't have to be perfect, because if it's a natural path, it's not going to be exactly symmetrical the whole way through. It's going to have different widths at different spots. So I'm just going to kind of maybe have it wind and around. Okay, I even gave it a little, maybe there's a little edge where some snow's falling down or something right there. All right, so I got a pathway. Now I'm going to go ahead and start to place some subjects into my picture. I'm going to think about my vanishing point is where everything vanishes, right? Where everything disappears. So anything that I put over here is going to get so tiny until it fully disappears right at that X. All right, and then anything that's closer to me is going to be way larger. It's going to be closer to me, and it's also going to get further away from this vanishing point as well, from the line. So if I have a tree and it's right here in the front, and I'm going to go ahead and just sketch one out, and I'm just going to give it just a free form tree, almost like a Christmas tree here, coming right off the edge of my frame. But then if I have that same tree over here, maybe even coming up over the hill, it'll be super tiny, right? So you can play with that. You can add as many as you'd like. Maybe you have another one that's coming off the page here, coming up off the edge. Maybe there's a couple that are even coming down over the front of the path. Maybe I'm kind of looking down over a pathway, and there's some trees right in front, really close to me. All right, so you can choose to have this perspective, or you can choose to have things a little bit more off in the distance, and maybe you have some medium-sized trees coming up. And you can even see their trunks. All right, a little further back. So you can add as much as you'd like there. I'm going to go ahead and add some on the other side too, but I'm going to make some different trees. So if it's winter time and I'm making a winter scene, and that's what I'm choosing to do. If you're daydreaming of summer, you can make summer trees too if you'd like. But since I'm making a winter scene, I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to make one a little bit kind of in the middle, not too far off, but not all the way off the page. And I'm actually going to just have it be a tree that doesn't have any leaves on it. So I'm going to go ahead and sketch my one edge of it and start adding in some branches. And I'm just kind of playing with this here, really free form. I don't have an exact image in my head. I'm just kind of playing around, adding some branches, and just letting it kind of see where it goes. All right. So there we got that guy. Maybe there's another one of those up here too. And he would be a lot smaller. can get him in there too. All right. Now I'm also going to think about what other kind of storytelling elements I can put into my picture. So I'm going to start thinking about, is this like a moonlit scene? Or is this going to be a snowy day? Or is this going to be a bright sunshine after the snow, bluebird day? Right, so I'm going to start thinking about that because that's going to affect what else I'm going to put into my scene. All right, so if I end up putting, moons are usually pretty epic. So if we stick a moon in there, and this circle is not going to be perfect. A lot of times when I'm putting a moon, I'll use something to help me draw the circle. All right, so I got a moon in there. And then all of a sudden, this kind of starts taking a different mood, right? So if I get a moon in there, then you kind of can already visualize what the lighting would be like. Maybe there's, you know, kind of some moon kind of reflected coming down if you start to add color. So you can start to think about that, of what it's going to be like. Sometimes there's moon and snow, and that can be a really cool mood too. All right, so maybe we got the moon and some snow. Remember, we don't want the snow to be too evenly spaced because it can start to look like polka dots. And you want to make sure that your snow is coming over the ground a little bit, because if you have it all up in the sky, sometimes it can be confusing of whether it's stars or if it's snow. All right, so we'll add some snow in there. Now you can decide with an image like this, it's nice to decide what your focal point is. So your focal point is basically just, when I'm looking at your picture, where do my eyes go? And sometimes that happens by accident, but it's really nice to start to learn to be intentional about that. Okay, so if you have a focal point that you want for this picture, then you decide what that's going to be. And there's different ways that you can choose to make that stand out a little bit more to who's looking at it. Okay, so if I'm looking at this and I'm like, maybe I really want this tree to be my focal point. A couple things I could do to make your eyes go there more is I can start to put a lot more detail in this area. Maybe I start to make those kind of little grains of the wood. Maybe I even put one of those kind of holes in the tree, you know, where there might be some animals living or something. All right. And I start to maybe put some roots into the tree. Maybe you can see the bottom of it a little bit. All right, maybe I start to build out these branches a little bit more. See if I can get those. Getting a little bit more epic with the tree, just making it stand out more. Maybe they kind of branch off a little more too. Some more little smaller branches, just to make it more detailed. All right, now the other thing that I can do, if I choose to add color, I'm going to focus a lot more color into this area. So see how that tree, all of a sudden my eye goes to it a lot more than it did a minute ago. All right, so I'm going to leave mine here because I'd like for you to take it from here. You don't have to do the same thing I did, but you can if you want to. But you can choose a totally different focal point. You can choose that it's a sunny bluebird day. You can choose that it's the summer. You can choose that it's a sunset if you want to add some color to it. But I want you to think about those things. I want you to remember the vanishing point and just remember how that works. So we get our horizon, vanishing point, everything gets smaller as you get closer to it. And then I want you to also think about focal point. All right? So this can be in your sketchbook and just be a sketch that you're messing around with, or it could be something that you decide you want to take it to a finish and you want to add some watercolor or some markers or some colored pencils and finish it all the way. All right? All right, I'm going to go ahead and leave my email address in the YouTube video, so feel free to send me what you got and have fun. I'll see you later.